you had this thing 3 weeks ago, two or 3 weeks ago, where he actually had a speech in front of the entire parliament where he accused the largest democracy in the world, India in this case, of coming into Canadian soil and assassinating a Canadian citizen, which is an enormous allegation to levy. And what was important to know about that allegation was that it was done without the explicit vocal support of either Britain or the United States, which would be the two most natural allies that Canada would present that information to. And instead of doing it behind a closed door to Modi, he did it on live stage like it was like some theatrical performance. Then India follows up and says, this guy's kind of known to be a little bit of a drug addict and was on a 2-day bender, and the Indian drug dog smelled a bunch of cocaine on the plane. Then they have this thing for Vladimir Zelensky where everybody was there to sort of like virtue signal this war, and then they actually invited a Nazi and then gave him a standing ovation. So when you put it all together, I think what it shows is just the lack of professionalism, which also belies just a lack of experience and capability. And so I think what it shows is just like, isn't this enough? Like, have we not seen enough of these examples where you can actually start to ask yourself, why can't we just get really good, competent people to do these jobs? Why can't we actually embrace free speech and all of what it means and explore that? Why can't we have people that don't need to theatrically perform on stage? Because eventually you're going to make these mistakes and you're going to embarrass your entire country, and then you're going to imperil relations with some really important allies. And I think this is a moment in time where all of those things need to be questioned and put on the table.
You're clearly questioning his competence here, because to not have the care to check who is going to speak in front of Parliament is crazy. And just to make it super clear, the speaker that invited Hunka, that was Anthony Rota, resigned on Tuesday. And Trudeau says Rota, the person who invited the Nazi, is solely responsible.
Well, then he blamed Russian misinformation on top of that. But Jason, the prime minister, who is the most important politician in the country, doesn't show up someplace unless the office knows who else is going to be there. He knew that Zelensky was going to be there. He would have known who the guest list was.
Yeah,
so
no,
this was just scapegoating to cover it up. But the bigger issue is just...
To be clear, you're not saying that they invited a Nazi on purpose and cheered for a Nazi on purpose. Nobody's saying that. You're saying there's a lack of care here, and it's
a lack of competence. It's a lack of competence.
Yeah. Just so